Hello everyone, my name is Gaurav Kohli and I am the product chief architect for Firm 58. Today I want to showcase you a tool that I have developed on top of Devspaces. We all know Devspaces is awesome. It provides various feature set to help boost productivity for developers. And you can do code sharing while you're traveling or while you're working with multiple team members. We all know what Devspaces does. My first DevSpace experience was quite great. As a PCA, I have to assist my developers across multiple assembly lines to set up, build, and deploy the product. And as soon as I have used DevSpaces and I converted all my Git repositories as a DevSpace compatible repositories, the experience was quite great. Now my developers are able to launch the dev environment in minutes and start working on the problems quickly. So far, it has been great. The challenge I started facing is because my product has multiple microservices and the end-to-end cycle that requires all the microservices to be up and running. Now, the first approach I took is to create a separate workspace for each microservice, which also is a separate Git repository for the DevSpace import. Reality is having so many different microservices and multiple Git repositories, it was not possible to do development efficiently. The challenge is usually the workspace timeout. While you're not working on a workspace, it will be timeout, it will be stopped. And if one of your microservices is down, your productivity goes down. You will have to troubleshoot, you will have to see why the API is not responding, and then go and start the workspace, which also takes some time. So it gives some challenges there. The solution is I wrote an automation on Devspaces, and it is present in this Git repositories. What it does is I have created a repo.yaml file in this, and you can provide your repository names and the branches that you're working on it. And then once you have done configuration of the repo YAML, you can just launch DevSpaces. Now let's see what it does. This is the source repository. If you like this project, if you find it productive, you can clone or you can fork out the repository. And you can see here the repo YAML file. This is the file where you can give your Git repository references. For purposefully, I have not put the trilogy group here because it is assumed for internal projects. And then you can clone, provide all the references from that point onwards. Now let's see what it does. So this is a workspace that I launched from the multi-repo workspace. What we can see here is the main Git pod YAML file in this is going to execute certain scripts. And these scripts internally are going to execute the Go script that I have written here. What it does is it looks for the repo YAML file, and then it goes and clones all the repositories that you have provided in the YAML file. Once the clone is complete, it looks for the Gitpod YAML file in those repositories, which means that if your sub repositories are already imported to DevSpaces and you have created a Gitpod YAML file inside it, this multi-repo will detect it and it will detect all the tasks inside it and it will execute all the tasks one by one. The eventual outcome is that when the DevSpace environment is created for this multi-repo repository, you will have all your sub repos checked out. They will be built and they will be deployed automatically. Now you can see I have multiple microservices running here. I have ActiveMQ component, a Cybertron component, a Neo another microservice, and I have another microservice running here. So as you can see, various environments are running from the single GitHub. So far, what we have seen is as soon as you give your Git repositories in the YAML file and the repository you have launched the DevSpace workspace, all the sub repositories will be detected, their tasks will be detected, and they will be executed. So you will have your workspace set up quite easily. What are the next steps? This code, as you saw, is an outside script written on the workspace that I have created. But it would be great if this code can be integrated inside the DevSpace code repository. Few benefits are that we can automatically detect the port configuration in each sub repository and configure the main workspace so that those port configurations are applied. We can also detect the shortcuts and then add all those shortcuts to the main workspace. We can also launch a new terminal for each repository task so that if you have 5 microservices, you will end up having 5 tabs and each microservice check out and the code executed for each one of them in a separate tab. That would be very easy to manage each repository separately. It would also be great if we can detect the Git changes in those sub-repositories. So today, if you go inside the sub-repository and if you execute Git commands, they will work. They will allow you to detect the changes, commit your changes, and push the changes to remote repo. However, those changes won't be detected in your main Git tree. So it would be great if you can get an integration on that as well. And of course, many much more announcements to go. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.